fantastic. It's good to see you.
Dude, here we go. A dose of positivity. Welcome to
Wow.
the show, brother Luke. How
Mike,
are you?
I'm very good, Mike, my friend. I have to really start by saying a massive thank you. When you reached out, I was both blessed and full of gratitude because I just couldn't believe that you would want to speak to me on a dose of positivity.
Oh, come on, man. Like we met when I was doing Run for Layla. That was like 4 years
Yes.
ago, right? 4 or 5 years ago through Cavion.
Yes.
And instantly we became friends because of your positive nature and attitude.
Thank you. Well,
And then
I was
you
just
go.
thinking about this before, Mike. Like attracts like, and as soon as we met, I just love meeting people, and as soon as we met, we did instantly connect. I don't.
Yeah.
It wasn't through running. It was just that. It was just that, like you say, that positive mental connection.
Yeah, and then you had me on your amazing podcast, which we'll talk about when you were doing with Kent, which you started
Yes.
off as a live show and you turned it into the podcast, which is amazing. Um, and then it's just like, it's really interesting. So you're part of like a core group of people that are important to me for multiple reasons because you help a lot of people like I do. And unfortunately, we've come to this really weird spot in the world where people are just living in a scarcity mindset. They live in fear. And because there's so much chaos in the world, they don't know how to come inside themselves authentically, unlike a guy like yourself, and do the work. And it's like Michael Dash, like great guy.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
in your circle. And it's just like certain things. So let's go back. So you're a Brit, I'm an Aussie. You come to America, you've got this incredible clothing line, and now you're not living in America now, which is crazy. You've moved to Tulum to change your life. So let's go a little deep for the audience because people don't understand how to pivot. They get
Yeah.
stuck. They don't understand this. So let's just jump into it and let's go into it.
Well, I think honestly, Mike, my wife and I, Max, we talk about this consistently. The changes and the move that we made 7 years ago when we left the UK to move to Los Angeles, at that time, we were so focused and driven on what we wanted to do. And that was to start a new life in Los Angeles because we felt we connected with it more. We wanted a more outside living style and the weather, obviously. And we were so focused on that we didn't actually stop to think truly about how big of a difference or how big of a change we were making in our life. And it wasn't until we did that, through that first year when we lived in LA, it was extremely tough. It was like living in a foreign country, literally. But we had people reaching out to us from the UK that we were never close to. We would never really class them as close friends. But they would reach out to us and say how inspired they were by the transition we'd made. And that kind of made us stop and think. And, like we've known those people for years just to kind of say hello to. And yet they've taken the time to reach out to us, to connect to us within a way that we expected from our true friends. And, obviously we took that transition and we really realized how close people were with us and who our real friends were at that time. That followed us through that transition. And then to build a life again in a new country, in a new city, especially a place like Los Angeles, was an amazing journey. Like I said, the first year was very tough. The second, third year, we had real fun. And then the following 3 years after that was just incredible. We built an amazing community of just, I'm blessed and grateful every time I think about the people that we had the opportunity to meet, yourself included in that, and to build these authentic relationships with incredible, inspiring and creative people that fuel us to make ourselves better, right? So to get to where we are now, Mike, long story short, we made the decision at the end of 2020 that it didn't feel right for us anymore. We didn't feel connected in the way we did prior with Los Angeles, with America. And we really felt Asia calling us. And so we spent 2 or 3 months, 4 months, really diving deep into ourselves, thinking, well, what is this that we feel? Why do we feel connected to a potential new destination, another move? What does this mean to us in our lives? Because we could all just very easily sit back and go, no, we'll kind of ride through whatever's going on now, and we'll just go back to a previous normal situation or life that we had before. And we didn't feel ourselves growing. We didn't outgrow Los Angeles or our friend circle. I'm not saying that in any way, but we didn't feel ourselves really growing authentically, spiritually, holistically, mentally, everything. And we felt Asia calling. And so we started to talk about a potential move to Hong Kong. We put all of our possessions into storage in Los Angeles. And we took some time and traveled a couple of states in the US at the beginning of 2021. And then said, well, if we're going to go all that way to Asia, to Hong Kong, let's stop in Tulum, Mexico. Completely random. Had some friends had been here. Said how amazing the energy was here. So we said, let's do 5 weeks on the way. When we get there, we'll figure out when we ship our belongings, our possessions to Hong Kong. So we came here, Mike, and really fell in love with the place, the culture, the people, the energy, the vibes, everything. We kept extending month by month by month. And then finally decided late last year or mid last year, this is our home now. We still feel a connection to Asia, but this is our home. And really where I'm going with this, one of the most important things, I had a good conversation with my good friend David Hernandez last year.
Oh yeah, love David.
Great guy. We feel very passionate that we can go anywhere in this world and recreate what we did before in Los Angeles because of everything we went through. We know at our core that wherever we go, we will find like-minded people and be able to connect on a higher energy level and frequency that will elevate our lives, and we'll be able to help others as well. And that's what we found here in Mexico. And we're only just not even scratching the surface yet. We've been here, I think, 10 or 11 months, and it still feels like a month. And we've met so many incredible people, and I'm being truly inspired by the Mexican culture. And when I say Mexican culture, I'm being taught by some incredible people about all of the work that happened before the Spanish came to Mexico. And it's electric. That the energy here in Mexico is just unbelievable. The heritage is incredible. And we're just loving life here.
So good. So I have a couple of questions. I have this thing. So when people ask me, I don't believe in affirmations, and I'll tell you why. I believe a tiger doesn't get sent to jungle school. A tiger doesn't have to sit by itself going, I'm a tiger, I'm a tiger. They wake up and they know they're a tiger. Now, if they're put into captivity, like a lot of people, it's called learned helplessness. Like the analogy of you get the stick, you put it in the ground and you put the rope against the elephant. After a while, the elephant forgets it can break free of the rope. So in life, what happens is the tiger, when Siegfried and Freud, after a while, jumps through the hoop, and the tiger's like, I'm a 500-pound killing machine. I'm quitting work. There's no severance pay. The tiger just mains you and goes, right? So when people say to me, how do you get self-confident? I say to them, well, you have to acquire a certain amount of skills. And like what I love about you is that you've acquired a certain amount of skill and ability to go anywhere in the world because there's people. And where there's people, you can progress if you level up.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
So, what I want people to understand, like you left the UK like I left Australia, knowing you'd be okay by yourself, knowing you had the discipline to acquire a certain amount of skills to be successful. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you go to Tulum, but you're so confident. You're like, we could go to Asia, we could go to Tulum, we can go anywhere. And that's so powerful for people to understand that you can gain so much freedom if you just have the ability to be disciplined and acquire a certain amount of skills, right?
Well, Mike, let's take a little step back from that. I wholeheartedly agree with everything you just said. I want to preface what I did explain before in that we had a collective amount of skills, unique skills to us before we left the UK.
All right, what were they so people can understand? Because I didn't know you before then.
Yeah, sure. So we ran a clothing distribution business. My wife and I have been in fashion for over 25 years. And the journey that we had with that distribution business in the UK was we learned everything inside and out of how any fashion brand works, wholesale, retail, e-commerce, everything, marketing, strategy, like inside and out, we understood everything. Because at the end of the day, if we understood it all, we could sell more, but not just sell more. We wanted the retailer to win and for the customer to win as well. So we understood all of that. So leaving the UK to LA with that knowledge was kind of like flying by the seat of our pants, because we didn't really know what was going to happen, but we kind of held faith in that we have this skill set and it will work out. And so then all of the time that we lived in Los Angeles and the work that I now do and have done over the last 7 years with my marketing creative agency was taking all of that knowledge and being able to offer that to any brand and company, doesn't matter what marketplace you're in, and really train and help those brands and people to really communicate properly to their customers. Now, I learn a lot myself, but what I didn't mean to cut you off before. What I really wanted to say is that there's a lot of work that has to be done internally. We can all stand here and say that we can do this and we can do that. But if we haven't done the work internally, I can't back up what I say to you. And I want you to succeed, whether it's me giving you some information about something that helps me out physically or mentally, or whether it's me actually trying to help you, your brand and your company. But I'm consistently waking up every day, meditating, moving, affirmations like you don't believe in, but not specifically.
Not what I don't believe. What I'm trying to say is I believe in believing is one thing, knowing is another.
Yeah.
So when people say to me, do you believe? I say, no, I just know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to do it because I know it's going to work. I'm not saying that you shouldn't tell yourself, I believe I can do it. That's a really important part, self-talk. I just think there's got to be a point, like you'd say, in your gut, that you have to believe you're a tiger. You've got to know you're a tiger.
Yeah.
Because if you don't know you're a tiger, you're going to look at yourself in the mirror and keep going, but everyone's telling me I'm not a tiger. Yeah. Well, you got to know it in your soul. There's part of me that knows that I can get someone sober. I just finished a 4-month job. And I'm like, how do you know? I'm like, because I can lay on a detox floor for 2 weeks without sleep.
Right.
I just know it. I can get you sober.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And they're like, how? I'm like, I know, I trust in my higher power. Like, I knew it was time to get sober. I didn't know Scott Weiland would be dead. I didn't know I'd be getting people sober 16 years later. I just knew, the gig's up.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I didn't know that. It was like, because that's all I'm saying. So anyone listening, you know what I'm saying? I just, it sounds messed up. I hate affirmations. I mean, just want,
affirmations is quite a broad,
complex, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. So there's a Canadian guy called John Kehoe who he does mind power, and so we've listened to one of his courses over the last couple of years, and I've also read his book Mind Power, and what he clearly enables you to understand is that, look, we create everything around us. Everything I'm looking at right now, I've created this.
Correct.
Whether it's good or bad.
Correct.
It's all my
creation.
It.
Yeah.
And sometimes when it's bad, you have to look back inside and figure out, what am I resisting against? Okay. Yep. Something's happened. I don't feel good and it doesn't feel right. What am I resisting against? And what do I need to really meditate on or think on and make adjustments to and change, right? John Kehoe breaks it down in such a way that you can do different little mind exercises. It's like going to the gym, but for your mind. And each day you do those, it enables you to, well, I would say that plus meditation enables you to kind of step aside or break out of the white noise, or, you know, what people call the matrix, and really allows you to figure out, well, what's important to me? Not my parents, not my siblings. What's important to me? Not even my friends. If I can figure that out, I can show up each day a better person, a better version of myself for my wife, for my family, for people I meet. And that's going to make me feel better. And that's going to be able to help me to progress as well, right?
100%. So do you believe I'm more purpose than passion? I believe passion's a feeling, it's great, but passion dies because feelings die. I'm purpose driven. I'm always about the why and the reason, because I believe that gives me forward motivation. Are you purpose or passion?
That's a great question, Mike. Honestly, probably a mix of both. I'm looking at an affirmation board. Sorry, not an affirmation board.
No.
A goal.
Don't ever worry
No,
about the
I
affirmation.
didn't mean to say it. It's a goal board that we have. It's a whiteboard that you can use markers on. It's on our fridge freezer. And the answer to your question, I'm probably a mix of both, because there's a lot of things I have passion about, but I don't take the next step or the or you know, focus on the purpose and move forward with it. But then the things that I do, it works, you know.
Okay.
And
that makes sense.
I can look at that list now and know that half of those we will get done this year. We will. It's just about, I think the passion gets mixed with the purpose, because, or let me step back and rephrase that. In Los Angeles, I know a lot of great entrepreneurs, and I was meeting a lot of entrepreneurs in that time. And I could see the passion in them. But to your point, they were lacking a certain amount of purpose. And I see that in brands and companies that I work with as well, because they don't take the next step to move forward properly. They don't take the action. Okay. We can all sit here and have great ideas and think about what we want to do and would love to do. But unless we have the real purpose that connects us with that, taking those steps and moving forward, then it's not going to work. You kind of, like you said, you rest back in that passion and then it fizzles out. I think that's really important. It's kind of like a journey that I went on. My wife and I spoke about this the other day. Our lives right now, based around health and wellness through physical and mental, we went on that journey, I think it was maybe 11 years ago. And it's not an easy journey to take. Since I was little, I've struggled with weight and food issues. And the decision we made, ironically, this was crazy. We got invited to a wedding in Bali, Indonesia. And we got invited in the winter, and the wedding was in the following April. And I said to myself, I want to be able to go to Bali, and I'd love to surf twice a day. For me to surf twice a day, I had to get in shape and lose a lot of weight.
Tough.
And so I just went on this journey on working out in the gym. And then all of a sudden I started running, and then somebody was inviting me to run outside. And then I just went, and my wife and I went on this whole crazy journey where at some point you kind of go, wow, I'm starting to change physically and mentally. What can I do with my life? What can I change in my life? Small steps that can help me progress faster and further. And that was looking at our diet. What can we do with the food we eat, with the whatever we intake? And we started to change all of those things. And you know, fast forward, running races, triathlons, everything, you know, and now we live a completely different life. And over the last 3 or 4 years, we've started to take that and implement that into our mental health. What are the things we can do daily that we can change step by step that can help us mentally? And it's not an easy process. And I think that is the reason why, Mike, your passion and purpose is the reason why a lot of people are able to be kept in the small place that they're kept in, told to be in. Because if you're overweight or you're dealing with an addiction, I'm not going to talk about that lightly because it's very difficult. We've got very close friends that are, I think, 12 years and longer in recovery. But to be at that point and to have to make a decision and say, no more, I'm going to make changes and stick to it, it's not easy. But if you do, shit, I mean, everything changes, right?
Yeah, it's funny you said that. Someone asked me the other day, 16 years ago, because I'll be 16 years in April, if I would be in this position, if I thought I'd be in this position. I said, well, I just got a book deal after 2 years, rewrites, 15 rejections, right? And the only reason I got the book deal is because I'm an addict. Big publisher. He read it and he's like, I need to sign you. People need this. And I called the book A Dose of Positivity. And I got so many rejections. They're like, no one wants this. The right publisher signed it because his dad's an alcoholic.
Right.
He said, I got it. People need this. People are dying. But the reason I talk about purpose is that I didn't want to go and help people get sober for a living. Ever. I was doing music and I was doing TV shows. What happened is it felt right. And Robert Greene talks about it in the book Mastery, that we have an inclination. We're inclined to do something, and then we have to master a craft. And then my calling from whatever you want to call it, my higher power, source energy, infinite intelligence, which Napoleon Hill talks about in Think and Grow Rich, super consciousness, that calling is for me to give back. My gift is to serve others with my purpose, right? To help you, not me, reach your full potential. Because let's be honest, every human being every spirit having a human experience is just here to self-actualize. Yeah. That's it. Yeah. We just want to self-actualize, reach our full potential. And it doesn't matter what you believe karmically after this. Mike Diamond has to expire. We have to expire. Now, you may come back 1,000 cycles, whatever you believe in. Do enough ayahuasca and you'll understand it. You know what I'm saying? Or plant medicine. But my point is that if the average human lifespan is 80 years, right? And you and I take our age from 80, we've got a certain amount of summers left. In that period, seasonal period, we have to figure out our shit.
Yeah.
And we're not going to figure it out if we just go on feeling, because the human experience is to avoid pain and gain pleasure. Right? So I have to make an empowering choice. And I know from me being a drug addict, physically and mentally abused, dyslexic, ADHD, if I don't do that self-work and work out my purpose, then all I'm doing is serving myself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It may feel good to make a bunch of money, but like the other day I walked into a restaurant and asked the girl what was her biggest tip. And she's like, why? And I'm like, just what was your biggest tip? She said $25. I gave her $200.
Yeah.
She goes, why? And I go, I just want to show you that people care.
Yeah.
There's people that know you're doing a great job. She's like, she found me on Instagram and said, no one's ever done that for me. I said, yeah, I know. I knew that because you had a $25 tip.
Yeah.
I said, but if I don't show you, I said, do you know what I just did to your life? She goes, no. I said, I didn't change your life. What I did is gave you hope and planted a seed. But guess what? The next 1,000 people you meet, you'll go and tip and change their life.
Yeah,
but that's what you got to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Be a good person.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Now, did I want to do that? Absolutely not. I didn't. I was in an argument with someone. I was having a shitty day. Everything I could have taken my day and gone with what I felt, which is my passion, to be a dick. Yeah. To be honest, but I didn't. I was like, how can I be of service to someone else that may need it? And that's where I focus on every day. How can I be a good person? And then if I'm a good person every day, because I'm an alcoholic, man, I'm a drug addict.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I go on feeling.
Sure. Yeah.
It's a sticky situation. Look, I'll be honest with you. If I didn't have a kid, I wouldn't be living in America right now. That's truth. I wouldn't. he's in a good school system. He's on the spectrum, autism spectrum. I don't think he's autistic. They put him in a box. Put him in a box. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be living in America. I wouldn't. If I would feel like I'd go somewhere else. But my purpose is to provide him with an education that's right for him.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd be selfish. I'd be in Tulum. I'd move to Costa Rica. I'm serious. I would open up a retreat in Costa Rica and just chill every day.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm like, I have this kid. Shit. My purpose is to provide him with the right tools to be successful.
Yeah.
I don't want to. I can admit that. I don't want to. I'm like, what? It's hard.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I do, Mike. And to really speak on what you said and everything that you've gone through. And like I've said, it's not just our very close friends that are still in recovery. It's many others that I know and have interacted with. And to a certain point, we're all kind of addicted to something, or have, let me rephrase that, have issues. Everybody deals with issues. And that's one thing that you said that really made me think. There's something that I like to repeat. When I brush my teeth in the morning and then at night, I like to repeat certain things. And the one at night is that it's completely left me now. Another one came to me. Every day in every way, we're getting better and better. I say that as soon as I wake up, because the first moment you wake up, your brain is in that beta phase, and whatever you feed your brain, your subconscious takes in.
100%.
If we wake up and go, oh man, I'm so tired. Wow, I'm still full from last night. I ate too much. Or, today is going to be crazy. I've got so many meetings today. And you've already started the day in that mindset, and your subconscious has soaked all that up and gone, do you know what? If you think you're going to have a busy day, we're going to put more shit on your plate.
Yeah, you're right. The reticular activating system. It just keeps drawing more bullshit. You're so right.
Exactly. But so to go back to what I say to myself through my mind when I brush my teeth is that everything we create everything, circumstances and situations that happen to us.
Yep.
And we create those through our thoughts and our beliefs.
Correct.
So everything that we think and everything that we believe, that essentially has been passed down to us, but we have the opportunity to change our beliefs.
Yep.
I believe I'm the sort of person that I'm the sort of person that, if someone believes they're the sort of person that's good for getting ill once or twice a year, they're going to get sick once or twice a year.
Yep.
So we have the opportunity to change our circumstances and situations. It's our personal vibration. And it goes back to what you said. You didn't want to do it. You didn't have to do it. I had a situation this morning in my boxing Muay Thai training, and it didn't feel good for me. And when I left and was walking home, I was dealing through that with my mind and thought, well, I can't pass that on to anybody else because that's not their fault. That's not their issue. And then it brought me back to thinking, well, it's my personal vibration that determines the situation and circumstances that I'm in and surrounded by. And I'm the only one that can change that through my thoughts and my beliefs. So if I get stuck on a thought pattern of, woe is me, that shouldn't have happened to me, that wasn't my fault, well, that's not going to change everything around me. That's just going to bring more shit to me. And again, it goes back to a lot of people either don't know the way to, or just don't want to do the work to be able to change for the better.
You know what? Let's jump into this for a second, because people at home that don't do the work may be confused. So my daily rituals are simple. I journal for 30 minutes. I learned this when I was studying from Julia Cameron, an incredible book called The Artist Way. So 3 longhand pages, and that clears the fog. And it starts off simple. And like, if someone wants to get clear, you could say, I hate Mike Diamond for doing this every morning. I don't care. I'm cold. I'm hungry. My ass is sore from sitting on the floor. You know what I mean? I hate my boss. I'm full of anxiety. You've got to get it down on paper and then ask why. And you've got to be, and when the response comes, you've got to be honest with it. Because if you're like, I'm anxious, well, why are you anxious? Well, I've got a report tomorrow. Well, why didn't you finish the report? Because I procrastinate. Well, why do you procrastinate? Because I don't give myself time. Well, why don't you give yourself enough time? Because I'm under pressure. Well, why are you under pressure? Because I don't get along with my wife. Oh, why don't you get along with my wife? Because I've got some unresolved issues. What are the unresolved issues?
Yeah.
So we have to de-weed those thoughts in the subconscious that are buried, like you say, the limiting beliefs. The next thing I do is I do breath work. I do 3 types of breath work. Then I do a long stretch. And the reason I stretch is because I hold so much lactic acid in my body. I'm stiff as fuck when I wake up. You know what I mean? I'm a fit, flexible guy, but I'm stiff. Then I lift weights. Then I do cardio. Then I read. Right. And I get up at 3 o'clock and people go, why do you get up that early? I'm like, I need 2 hours or 3 hours by myself to set my frequency and tone. So I may start here, I get out of the house here, and then my job is to bring everyone up to my frequency.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I do my best every day to pull everyone up. Because then if I can pull everyone up and be an engine, then every person they touch will pull everyone up.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're not going to be depressed, right? My job is to drop a dose of positivity on someone, not drop a dose of shit.
Yeah.
You know? So how do you start your rituals? You meditate? How do you get into what's your day?
Yeah, I kind of feel bad now hearing you explain all of yours, Mike, because I don't get up at 3 a.m. After we finish this interview, Mike, there's some changes I am making tomorrow onwards. Get up early.
No, what's early? 7? Sorry, I didn't know it's true. I studied Joe Dispenza, and I was just like, I'm getting up at 3. That's it. Joe Dispenza's the guy. You know what I mean?
Well, before I get to that, I want to. These are
It's not a competition.
No, it's not a competition. These are the limiting beliefs we hold with ourselves, right? If I think about getting up at 3 a.m. in the morning, I think about that only happens when I'm traveling to fly somewhere, or things like that.
Yeah.
And we had an opportunity last year. A friend invited us to go to a sunrise concert here in Tulum. And this was, I think this was at the end of the summer. So sunrise was approximately, let's say it was around 6 a.m., just before 6 a.m., sunrise. We had to be at the concert for 4:30 a.m. so that we could be there for when the first light actually came up before the sunrise. And so my first gut instinct was, there's no way I'm getting up at that time to go to a concert, right? I don't care if it's a sunrise concert. But there again, that's my limiting belief holding me back. My wife and I spoke about it, and we said, you know what? Let's do it. This sounds like it could be good. Let's forget about getting up. Let's just do it, right? And the reason why I say this, Mike, is because we hold ourselves back. It's like you see somebody who inspires you, whether you're at an event or something else, and you think, I want to talk to that person. Oh, I can't go over there and introduce myself. What are they going to think of me?
Exactly, it's bullshit. Yeah,
right. So going back to the getting up early, we got up early. We went to the sunrise concert, which, by the way, was one of the most incredible experiences we have ever had and will stay with us forever. Now, the person who was curating and playing the concert was a chap called Eduardo Castillo.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I know who he is.
And I didn't know who he was before then. I didn't know anything about his music. Mike, it was incredible. But afterwards, he was hanging around. And I said, you know what? I'm just going to go and tell him how inspiring and just game-changing that was for me. Went over, had a chat with him, told him about my podcast, said about something else I was doing. And I just said, I would love to sit down and record a conversation with you about music, because we connected on music. I DJ'd for over 25 years in the UK, and we connected just purely on music. And so, long story short, we met, we had an incredible conversation recorded. Afterwards, we spoke even more about music. He invited us to another sunrise concert on New Year's Day this year at an incredible location. Like, all of this wouldn't have happened if I'd have gone, I'm not the type of person that gets up at 3:30 to go to, you know?
Yeah.
So that's a long
Can I
way
tell
of
you a story? Can I tell you a story?
Sure.
So I got a really good agent to sell my second book, and my gut feeling said he probably won't sell it. So I gave him 4 months to sell it. At the time, I got asked to detox a client, and I asked for a ridiculous amount of money, and they paid me the money. So shit, it was a 12-day detox, turned into a 4-month job.
Wow.
My agent calls me, and he said, I couldn't get you the deal you wanted. I said, okay. So I sat by myself, and I was like, who's the top guy? Who do I love? And I love Eckhart Tolle. So I found Eckhart Tolle's agent, and I wrote him a letter. And I said, here's my 70-page proposal and book. You need to read this. I went online, and this is what I want people to listen to. I don't read stuff to get a negative frequency. And I read an article on him, and he said, I don't take submissions. I get 1,000 submissions a week. I don't sign new people. In 20 minutes, he emailed me back. He said, I need to send you a contract. I want this book, and I want this proposal. I called my other agent and said, I've got a literary agent. I'll do a deal with you. You can do TV and film with me. I need this literary agent. He said, we're good, Mike. Now, most people are going to have the one agent. The one agent's going to not get them the deal. They're going to get resentful. Instead of pivoting and finding the Eckhart Tolle agent, people ask me, why did I send an email, a blind email to the agent? I said, you know why? Because everyone else, 999.999% of the people are going to read that he takes the submissions and doesn't write back. That means he's not getting a lot of emails. So my email is going to go through, right? And then he's going to be curious, going, how does this guy have the balls to write me an email? Where does he get the nutsack to have the balls to write an email? Now, here's the difference. Preparation meets opportunity. When you step into the majors, you better be able to hit the ball. So when I send a 70-page proposal and a fully written draft, it's ready. I went to a top editor to get my ass kicked. Guess what? I got a book deal in 7 days.
Wow.
Now, the only reason I got up at 3:30 in the morning is this. When I wrote the second book, I read Stephen King, and Stephen King said every top author has to write 2,000 words a day. I'm not as good as Stephen King as writing. I'm a better speaker than Stephen King. I could wipe the floor with Stephen King all day on a podcast and a live speaking gig. He can't touch me. I went to acting school, but I can't write 2,000 words a day. So what do I have to do? I removed that limiting to belief and said, if I have to get up at 3 o'clock every day to write 2,000 words a day, I'm writing 2,000 words a day. And that's what I told myself. I'm like, top authors write 2,000 words a day. So if that means I got to get up at 3 in the morning every day to compete as a top author, when I present my work to the best guys, guess what? They're going to be like, this is ready to go. I don't know what he's doing. I don't know what his rituals are, but he can level up. You know what I'm saying? And 100%. That's how. So I'll give you a perfect example. Dean Carneades. I don't like anyone. I'm not impressed by anyone, but I'm impressed by Dean Carneades. He ran 50 marathons in 50 days before James Lawrence. He did it. He's the GOAT. I sent him a message and said, I need to interview you. You're the greatest of all time. You are Dean Carneades. You're the Golden Greek. He emailed me straight back. He said, I'm coming on your podcast, dude. Not even a problem. Because to me, that's the guy that created the ultra. He made me run. It's like Dean Carneades. But the funniest thing was, every person I've asked to come on this has said yes. Do you know why? Because they're like me and you. They do the work. Do you know what I'm saying? 100%. And that's what people need to understand. Successful people do the work no matter how they feel. Unsuccessful people only work when they feel good and feel right. Once if you 100%. Never feel good or feel right, you don't work.
Well, and to add to that, there never really is the right time. You never really feel like
you step. Exactly. You just step. Step into the gap. That's why you're so successful, and that's why I love you so much. Because when you moved to Tulum, I was like, dude, this is so good. Like, he's stepping into the gap. People are afraid. There's no logical plan. You can have a plan, but it's our ability to adapt. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, everyone is stuck on this, it's got to be a certain way. Why?
Yeah, and well, I mean, short answer the why to that is because too many people give away their own personal opportunity of how can I rephrase this? People just give away their life to other circumstances. They go to be validated by
Right.
somebody or something else. They don't.
External security, right? External
Right.
validation. Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly.
Exactly. I mean, to go back, let's go back to your question. My daily routine, what my daily morning routine looks like is like I said, I seed in the morning as soon as I wake up. There's 2 or 3 short sentences that I seed in my mind. And I do that when I first wake up, when I sit on the toilet before I brush my teeth.
I love it.
When
Love it.
when I brush my teeth, I then say some phrases. I guess you could call them affirmations. They're not really. They're just reconfirming to my subconscious.
Yep.
I mix it up. I will either go straight into 20 minutes meditation, which is really only focusing on the breath. There's nothing else. It's just focusing on the breath.
Mindfulness. Yeah.
Right.
Awesome.
Or I will take, we have a dog now, or I will take the dog for a walk and mindfulness through walking.
So good.
If the dog goes out first, then I'll meditate afterwards. Then it's matcha. We drink a matcha in the morning first thing, just because of what it can do. You know, we all talk a lot about firing and wiring, but what matcha can do with L-theanine for your mind and helps the nervous system. Then I'll work out. It's either running or it's Muay Thai or boxing training, one
Beautiful.
of the two. One thing I want to go back on is at the end of all of last year and the year before, I was writing goals and reviewing goals consistently. And what you said about journaling, that's definitely something that I want to and do need to add. I have a very nice notebook that my wife bought me on New Year's Day, sat upstairs, and that does need to get written in. So thank you for the reminder on that. But do you know what? As you explained it, Mike, and I say this to so many people, this thing is left on airplane mode and only switched on either after all the meditating, or after all of that.
Correct.
Either before I go to work out, and I only turn it on to charge because it's in airplane mode. So I don't see any income. I don't take any incoming messages. Like, sorry, family, or whoever else. Everybody waits until after I finish my workout and I come back. Then the phone goes on. But the phone goes on to bring in messages on WhatsApp. I don't go into my email. I don't go onto social media. None of that until I start to make the breakfast. During the process, during making my breakfast, I really should be more mindful of, but I use that opportunity, showering and making a breakfast, to start to think through the creativity of my next steps, of some things that I have. Not like scouring the workload I have, but thinking of, I guess you could call it, not problem solving, but just thinking of what I'm going to do and how I'm going to do that before I even sit down.
Creative solutions. It's great. Creative solutions.
There we go.
Yeah.
And
I love that.
I forgot about the shower, cold shower every day.
The best, right?
And I have to reintroduce breath work. I was doing that for the last couple of years. 2 weeks ago, I had an incredible breath work session and then ice bath, and forgot how important the breath work is. And if anybody hasn't done breath work, look up the 4-second square box work, and also Wim Hof as well, because it just releases a lot of tensions that we're holding mentally and physically.
Oh, it's amazing. I do. You know what's really great? I knew this was going to be amazing. So much for people to take. That we have such similar. Like, there's no wrong way. Well, I shouldn't say that. There is a wrong way. If you get up, if you sit on your phone for 12 hours a day, if you're snorting massive amounts of cocaine, if you're doing OxyContin, if you're doing shit that's disempowering, it's the wrong way. And I'll tell you why, because I've done it all. So don't come to the pharmacist. I'll give you, when someone said to me, how many drugs have you done? I'm like, get out a list. And like, they were literally going through every drug. They're like, how are you still alive? I'm like, that's what I'm trying to tell. Done more drugs to kill the Tulum. But my point is that without the rituals, without the daily rituals, you cannot be emotionally intelligent. And when I tell people that a lot of people like to throw around the word empathy, gratitude, emotional intelligence, and there's a lot of big entrepreneurs in the space that I've heard them talk about self-awareness, but yet they spend 16 hours a day on their phone. And some people say meditation's bullshit. I'm calling people out right now. If you don't spend time in the dark alone and do the work, you get exposed in the bright lights, right? Yeah. The work is done alone in the dark, okay? You have to face your inner critic and you have to face your inner demons. And you have to sit with those demons. And like you're saying, you have to go into that programming, those limited beliefs and that subconscious mind. And to flourish in life, you have to de-weed. You have to prune those connections and you have to reinforce new correct connections. And like you're saying, neuroplasticity, neurons that fire together, wire together. And you create the new connections and you keep rewiring your brain every day and every morning. I don't look at this thing till 8 o'clock. Yeah. I've had a full day, 5 hours before I look at my phone. So I'm not reacting, I'm responding. And I'm in life or death. People can die on my watch. Yeah. People can tell me they're going to kill themselves. That's real. But still, I've got to worry about my mental health, spiritual health, and physical health before I can help anyone. Because if I'm not helping myself, I can't be of service to others in the world. Yeah. You know what I mean? So you nailed it on every area. So before we wrap, what's going on? Where can people find you? What's going on, like with the clothing, all that stuff? Are you doing retreats in Tulum with Mike Dash? Like, you know, tell me to wrap this up, like what's going on?
Lots going on, Mike, lots going on. Where do I start? People can find me on Instagram, Luke Dax Gledhill, LukeDaxGledhill. My marketing agency is called Just Up the Road. It's justuptheroad.net is the
good. I love that. That's so good. Just up the road.
Exactly. I mean, what's happening right now? I probably am the busiest at the moment than I have been for the last 3 or 4 years. A lot of amazing projects going on that I'm working with clients on. An incredible NFT art project, an amazing new canned beverage that's going to market, a coffee brand. There's all sorts of amazing projects that I'm very blessed to be working on. And here's the thing, Mike, I love it. I have amazing clients that I get to work with day in, day out. And I truly enjoy it. It doesn't feel like work to me. Brilliant. Which is definitely a blessing. Like I said, I'm looking at the whiteboard again on our fridge freezer. We have several projects, my wife and I, that we will achieve this year here in Tulum, not retreat based. There's a couple of events that we will run, but there's some business startups that we're going to build here, based around food and beverage, but really coming from mental and physical well-being. Yeah, definitely. So I'll keep you updated on that.
Yeah, so this podcast series is about education, inspiration, motivation. I'm going to have you come back on for education. I'll tell you why. We're going to do NFTs. I want you to talk about that. And I want you to talk about the metaverse. Yeah. I know you're pretty savvy, and that my audience will really want to hear about, because I know what a non-fungible token is. I know how it works, but you're dealing with it in real time, and it will allow people. The one thing I've found, and I was trying to explain to people, you can't stop information. You've got to learn to filter it. Yeah. But if we live in generalization, what happens is we don't actually look at the information correctly and look at some of the benefits. Yeah. So an NFT is not a bad thing, and I'll tell you why. I went to an art gallery the other day, and there was paintings that were, $50 million. Why are they $50 million? I'm an art guy. I understand it. There's certain musical collections that are, ridiculous. But why? It's because that people have, certain elitist people say, this is worth this, this is worth that. Well, the NFT is the same. It's a non-fungible token. You can create original art and put it up there. This is where the world's going. It's going into a digital space.
Yeah.
And don't be, blind to it, but don't be angry at it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I want to educate people. So when information comes in, like everyone thinks the metaverse is bad. No, there's parts of the metaverse that is really great for training.
Yeah.
Because if I can sit on the metaverse with you and learn how to sell or how to train before I go into the real world, that's really practical.
Yeah.
And I want, and you understand that space. So if you can come on, I want people to really, because the worst thing is now people are just angry because they're not getting the information and they're getting left behind because they're ignorant.
Yeah. 100%. 100%. Well, you made me think, Mike. My wife and I, we were in Hong Kong in 99 and 2000. And at that point, my wife's nephew, he works in the financial industry. When we were there in those 2 years, the people we were meeting, because they were heavily investing in web, the first version, right? When really the web was booming and was in a bubble. And so we were involved in all of that process, and we saw it go up and go down, and we saw the reaction to other people that had no idea to it. When we talk about the metaverse now and NFTs and just the digital landscape in general, there is definitely an opportunity that can be used for all things that can be good for people. There's going to be a bad part of it because people want to use it for whatever they want, but there's also going to be a very good version of it as well.
Yeah, 100%.
Now, what people can, like you said, you could put a VR goggle headset on. If you have mental health issues, you could go into a place, into the metaverse, that could really help bring you back down and get you through or help with any issues that you have. That wasn't available before.
And you just nailed it, because think about this, all these people that suffered in silence, or all these people that are stuck because of the pandemic, locked away, not realizing that they could go on a program that you and I created in the metaverse and be like, oh my God, I needed to hear that.
Yeah.
I needed to have this virtual experience to know. And that's what I'm trying to tell people. See, that's the education people need. Not all of it is bad. It's how you use the information.
Exactly.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like some of this, I was arguing with someone the other day on NFTs. I'm like, why is it bad?
Yeah.
If you can own your own art and I'm smart enough to sell it on the metaverse, why is that bad? I'm not that old school. So I want to bring you on because, it just helps people stop being angry, because so many people are angry because they're getting left behind, but they're only getting left behind because they're not listening.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? They're not saying, well, oh God, I didn't see it that way. It's perception.
Yeah. I mean, we could talk about this for a long time, but one thing I will say is it goes back to what I said before around the white noise and the matrix, right? People are controlling information. People are controlling information because they don't necessarily want everybody to understand everything. I'll say that again. True. They don't want everybody to understand everything. And there's a reason behind that. And so that's why there's frustration with new things, with new developments, with new technology, because we don't understand it until we're getting given the information to understand it. If we don't understand it, we can be held back and be put into our place. Whereas if we can openly talk about it, people can understand it more and learn from that and grow from that.
It cut out for a second.
You're back,
but Mike. It's okay. We got 90% of it. I'll edit that bit out. I love you. We're good. I don't know what happened. It might be my wife. It might be yours. It's all good. I love you, brother.
Thank you, mate. Lots of love.